everyone. Welcome to Real Estate with Ryan, and thank you for tuning in on a Saturday. Talking a little real estate. What's better than real estate on Saturday? Maybe some orange on the football field, maybe a little football. But other than that, man, real estate is where it's at. I think we got 40 days or less, counting to big orange football in town. Oh, the excitement's brewing. I hear we're going to have a packed house at Neyland, so excited for that. Summer is booming, by the way. Other than being hot, the market's hot. So if you're following the real estate market, you know how on fire it is. But we're going to talk about that today. We're seeing little signs of June reports coming out that the market was down about 17% in the month of June. Okay. And so we'll get into that. We got a good show for you. So we're talking about the foreclosure crisis at the end of July here. They're going to put a moratorium. It's going to expire. How is that going to affect the real estate market? Are there going to be some good deals for you as a buyer? Are you going to find something in the market that is that good deal? Isn't that what everybody wants? The deal as a buyer. We all want it. We'll talk about that and some risk that you may have on the second part of the show about buying a foreclosure and overall the status of the market. But before we start, as always, we know you're proud sponsor of the Vols, your Tennessee Realtor. Always got your back, man. We're always here in the studios. April sends all the love. Couldn't be there today with you. As you guys know, she's a real boss. I'm just allowed to come here on the studio and do my thing. But we thank you guys. We thank our existing clients. And just got noticed the other day. Thanks for nomination on Best of Knoxville. So we're up and running. And I think that's coming up here in August and September. So if you're out and about, check out the News Sentinel and give us a vote, man. It means the world. So let's get into some congrats. New listings on the board, 496 Monroe Road, a brand new listing, couple acres out there, 3,100 square feet, big garage, very spacious, laminate floors, updated kitchen, you name it, it has it. In-ground pool, needs some work on the in-ground pool, but you could easily update one and plenty of space there for a brand new one. Lots of privacy there. 112 Dorothy Drive. Beautiful two-story home, full basement, hardwood floors throughout, corner lot, fenced-in backyard. You definitely want to check that out. That's located in Maynardville as well. Let's think you're thinking about a subdivision, maybe doing some divide. Maybe you have some horses. You want to check out Kettle Hollow Road, almost 75 acres in Union County out in Maynardville. Beautiful pastures, ridge, old barn on it. Make sure you check that out. By the way, if you're checking this out, check us and visit us at ryancoleman.org. You can see all these listings that we're talking about, pictures, walk through, that right there for your convenience. Brand new listing in Knoxville, 6920 Sunny Ridge Lane. And then some congrats. We're selling houses over here, 286 Archery Lane. One day on the market, sold. 625 Leg Hollow, 35 acres. We were going to announce that it was on the market, right, Nick? And then before you know it, we have a contract. So congrats there to Leg Hollow out in Decatur under contract. Our great friends over in River Sound, Thimblefields Drive is under contract. Congrats. I think we had multiple offers on that. Congrats to 4303 Lock Ridge Way, beautiful cabin out in Sevierville. And the Shaws, congrats to Red Grouse Lane, one of the last properties we have for them under contract. So you guys are thinking about selling as we're approaching the end of summer. Hard to believe kids going back to school. Just maybe the initial phase, right, Nick? It's that process where we start the process. We kind of want to know what the market's doing, but Ryan, I'm not ready to have you come out to the property. Go to my website, ryancoleman.org. We got a free tool, What's My Home Worth? We'll give you instant value right there on the page. No pressure. But then if you need some more information, we'll follow up with you, give you some tips. Two people this week, I can't tell you how grateful are that they've called us from the radio show and they wanted to see what they need to do about getting their home on the market, but that process. We did a walkthrough. We give them tips on things that we need to do to maximize the most value, whether it's updating, staging, finishing some trim, doing a couple of things that will maximize the most. Just left somebody today in Loudon. Little simple thing of a fence that maybe will cost $1,500, but the separation from the property lines will make the huge, huge difference. And hopefully not only been on the market for a month or two, now we're going to put it under contract. So excited about those opportunities. Visit us at ryancoleman.org. All right, we'll get into the show. So we're talking a little bit about the foreclosure market. So, you know, we guys have come out of a pandemic. So a lot of the banks as a whole for the last 12 months, 18 months have put any kind of pending payments or mortgage payments, car payments, et cetera, on hold. Well, with the real estate market as a whole, the mortgage moratorium or the foreclosure moratorium is good through July 31st. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau isn't planning on any further bans on the foreclosures in place. One of the biggest challenges that I hear as buyers and other sellers that have some concerns are, Ryan, that we're fearful with everything in inflation, everything going on in the market today. I need to get my house on the market because I think the bottom's going to fall out. I mean, that's very rational, because I can tell you sometimes I feel like the bottom's going to fall out. As I was telling my great client, future client that we met today, I said, hey, turn the news off. I think it's probably one of the biggest things we can do is stay away from some of the news, because it's definitely doom and gloom. But one of the things that I think has everybody kind of wondering about that is we go back to the recession market, go back to 2008, 2009. And what we're going to be talking about today is that we're not in the same position that we were in 2008, 2009. A lot of the government has done some stress testing and some positions to prevent this foreclosure crisis from reoccurring. For you consumers that maybe are having a hard time, or some things that you need to do, the CFPB put the following protections in place for borrowers that are 120 days behind on their mortgage. So number one, before any foreclosure can start, a loss mitigation application must be completed by the borrower and thoroughly reviewed by the loan servicer. If the borrowers are unable to make any kind of payments, then, and after exhausting the foreclosure advance options, then the process can start. Number two, loan servicers need to confirm that the property is abandoned under local and state laws before proceeding. Number three, loan servicers need to make a reasonable effort to reach borrowers before starting any foreclosure proceedings. And you see this because you have a lot of these lender or servicers where, let's say it's ABC Bank, big bank, and then as soon as you close, you get these letters in there by a third party servicer that you've never heard of. And these are the ones that really have those issues where as soon as you get behind, they have an opportunity and they accelerate the foreclosure or start that process. Now there's some guidelines that make it harder for them just to do that. And it's a 90-day process. That doesn't alleviate them from doing it. There's just more hoops that they need to do, which as a consumer, the first thing you need to do is reach out to your lender and see what options that you do have. What we dealt with is in 2008 and 2009, one of the biggest challenges was that the lenders would say that they would do a short sale or a forbearance. They would take the application, sit on it, process it, wouldn't do anything. And that's the challenge. So you have to be proactive, be aggressive, and there's some things that was going to help you. Hopefully you found this show helpful. So they also require servicers and homeowners to have at least 3 options to avoid losing their home: to resume regular payments, and then any of the missed payments, keep in mind, any of the missed payments suspended or added to the end of the term. So let's say that you did have a hard term. You'll be able to add those to the end of the loan, but you got to call, you got to reach out. Remember, this is ending at the end of July, so August is your opportunity, and they will start taking effect in August 31st, 2021, and run to the end of the year in January. As long as the servicers follows these protocols, then they allow the foreclosures to proceed. Some of the options that we're talking about were very, very important. But one of the most important things that we saw in there was that the servicers had a 90-day period, and that a lot of the servicers, FHA, VA, HUD, USDA, were taking some of their missed payments, even up to a certain percentage, and adding it to the back of their loan. Some lenders are not doing that. Some lenders, when you're coming out of July's status, they're saying, hey, you have $7,000 in payments, and that is due right away. All right. And they're not even extending that. So that's a challenge. So keep those in mind for different options. If there's anything we can do to help you during this process, We've been doing it 22 years. We were around during the crisis. We've helped a lot of people save their home. We helped a lot of people navigate through foreclosure, short sales, bankruptcy, different things we can do. We're here for you. So always give us a call at 693-SOLD. A lot of the properties, depending on if you're a Fannie Mae, VA, FHA, depends on the type of loan that you have. A lot of these services will work with you, and there's programs. Now, we're going to talk about in the second show, is there more foreclosures coming? And if I buy one, what's the risk? We're going to talk about that with Real Estate with Ryan. Stay with us. We're coming on a break talking real estate foreclosures.
Knoxville and East Tennessee. The region is known for its rolling hills, rivers, and lakes. There's no better place to work, live, or raise a family. Home is where your story begins. Buying or selling your home is a big decision, and you need a real estate team you can trust.
I'm Ryan Coleman with Hometown Realty, your hometown experts. Whether you're buying or selling a home, let us develop a winning game plan for you.
Hometown Realty is East Tennessee's #1 real estate group and a proud sponsor of the Vols.
Your friend promised we wouldn't be homeless.
He promised. He's doing everything to fix it.
You need to call and have him fix it now.
Hey, man.
Found us a house.
No, not yet. Let me call you back. We're working on it.
Ryan Coleman with Hometown
He
Realty.
says he's doing the best he can do, honey.
Well, he's taken too long. I knew we should have gone with Ryan Coleman.
Choosing the right agent is never easy.
Call your hometown experts. We'll take care of all the details and make sure you don't get stuck in a motel. All right, we're talking about real estate. We're talking about 4 reasons why forbearance will not lead to a wave of foreclosures. So we were talking on the first part of the show, kind of how things were changing at the end of July here, that they're going to stop the moratorium. So you may see more foreclosures. What will that happen in the marketplace? This is the biggest thing. So I'm helping people and they say, well, Ryan, I'm just going to wait. I'm going to wait to get into the marketplace. And then when the market changes, I'm going to jump on it. I wrote down here on my page, don't wait for prices to go down. They may never. They may just keep increasing. And we're talking about the foreclosure market and how it won't happen like we saw 2008, 2009. Many are concerned with the housing market with the experience of new foreclosures will happen 15 years ago. Very valid. There was a lot of pain in that market. Last housing crash was there was about 9.3 million households who lost their home due to foreclosure, short sale, or because they simply gave it back to the bank. As they had the COVID at stay home orders issued last year, the overwhelming fear was that the pandemic would decimate the housing market. I know it's something that we all were worried about. 30% of mortgage holders were projected to be affected, and they would enter forbearance program. Here's the good news, guys. Only 8.5% actually did, and that number's down 3.5%. As of last Friday, the mortgages still in forbearance stood at 1,863,000 mortgages. So little under 2 million mortgages. Sounds like a lot of people, but that's definitely a lower number than 9.3 million. Almost 1.86 million in forbearance have enough equity to sell their home. That's another thing that's going to affect the market. So if you're thinking for that boom and you're waiting for the market just to drop and you're sitting on the sidelines waiting to cash in, don't wait too long, because these numbers are saying that even some of the people that are having some hardship, that equity number is so important to homeowners because they have the ability to sell in this hot market and still avoid the foreclosure. The remaining 13% might not have the option to sell. So if the 13% of the 1.86 million went into foreclosure, that would only be 241,800 mortgages. 241, might as well round it up 250. So 250,000 people approximately, to give that number in context, over the next 3 years. So let's look at some numbers. In 17, what was that number? 314,000. 2018, 279,000 leading up to the pandemic. 2019, 277,000. So the probable number of foreclosures coming out of forbearance is nowhere near the foreclosure coming out of the housing crisis years ago. And it doesn't even comparison to the 3-year mark back in 2017. What they're saying is that the current housing market and demand, especially our market where we're attracting so many out-of-state buyers, and I know our marketing is working overtime, getting sellers top dollar, way above list price, and bringing those buyers to the table, that our market can absorb any oversupply in the market. It said that in 2008, there was an excess supply of homes for sale in the market. So we go back 2008, there was already a 9-month supply of listings. Today, that inventory is less than 3 months. And I did a little deeper dive on that. Let's look in today's market in the MLS. So today's market, we have 2,238 homes on the market that's active without a contract. Of the foreclosure market, we have active 18 properties that are REO or bank foreclosures. We have 3 short sales and 2 in bankruptcy. We have 20 that are pending. That's like 1%, not even 1%. It's like minute. So you can see that there's not that many foreclosures that are on the MLS, and then there's some other sites where they're not there as well. The National Association of Realtors said that any foreclosure increases will likely be quickly absorbed by the market and will not lead to any price declines. And then also that the White House was doing 2 things for homeowners. Specifically, this is what I was trying to talk about in the beginning, Nick, talking about that monthly mortgage payments would recur, and basically they'll allow them to add to the end of the loan, which is really, really good. And then number 2, so you got any kind of your government loans, FHA, VA, HUD, USDA, that they're allowing a roughly 25% reduction in the borrower's monthly principal and interest payments to make sure they can stay in the home and build long-term equity. Listen to this, guys. Ivy Zelman, founder of major housing market analytical firm Zelman and Associates, said the likelihood of having a foreclosure crisis again is 0, zip, none, nada, ain't happening. So, what do you do there? Where do we go with the market? Your guess is as good as mine. But keep in mind, if you're thinking about buying or selling and you're in the marketplace and you're waiting for those prices to come down, let's think about it. We have a lot of people coming from California. Look at the market in California 10 years ago and look what they're selling for today. You would get just a square rancher or a box and it would be $500,000. Now that property's $900,000. You know, in Knoxville as a whole across the country is moderately priced. I mean, we're one of the most affordable towns and cities under 1 million DMA market in the country. And so why do we not think that the demand will not increase the prices and stay there? So keep that in mind. Now, let's talk about a couple things before we go into the show. You guys know, if you're tuning in for the first time, my name is Ryan Coleman, owner and founder of Hometown Realty. We try to bring you the up-to-date information in the market and talk about a little real estate. No politics, nothing like that. Just fun stuff, real estate. And if you're relocating in the area and you need a great agent to help you, we're here for you. Every Saturday, we're talking a little real estate. And today, we're going to talk about coming out of the foreclosure market. We're looking for that wave. Well, it doesn't look like the wave's coming. But if you find a good deal, and there's 20 pending now, and they come on the market quickly, some are off the market, why buying a foreclosure makes it risky? What's the advantage? Maybe this is your first time home. Maybe you're moving up and you want to buy a foreclosure property. The difference with the foreclosure property, it's owned by the bank. And what makes it advantage is that the bank has repossessed it from the previous homeowner who has stopped paying the mortgage. Banks are not in the real estate business at all. They're in the business of making money. Loaning money, but they make money, right? And in the foreclosure situation, the bank typically wants to just recoup their money and get out of there. One of the risks of buying a foreclosure is that the property may need some love, a lot of love, meaning sold as is may mean that there's repairs that have not been done and that the new homeowner will have to take those on. One of the biggest challenges with that is that you could be facing would be, hey, could be a new roof needed. Maybe the HVAC no longer works. Leaky roof, we talked about that. Water damage. How about bad plumbing? Could it be termites? Could be some bugs, right? How about electrical? How about mold? Our friend mold is always great. and a lot of different things that could come into play when you're purchasing a foreclosure. Now, sometimes in this process, you've seen we've come out of a year pandemic, and they're trying to bring us back into one. Won't talk about that, but we're talking about what's vulnerable in the market and a house being vacant. So a lot of these properties could be vacant for a year. And so when a property sits vacant, a lot of things and neglect could happen, and you'll have to assess those of the risk of buying that foreclosure. So keep that in mind. Don't pay too much. Just because it's a bank foreclosure, the banks want as much as well. They listen to the same program that we're listening to, and that the banks may be overpricing the property for its current condition. So make sure you have a great agent that knows the market, that can help you walk through and know what your ARV is. Your ARV is your after repaired value, and you shouldn't be paying any more than 70%. But in this market, it can be very competitive. The buying process is difficult and sometimes takes longer because the foreclosure deed is not recorded. There could be outstanding liens, back taxes, HOA dues that you need to have. So all those things come into place. And probably the most important thing is if you're getting a loan, let's say you're getting an FHA loan or VA loan, those loans will not apply for bank properties. And sometimes the banks won't take them because it needs work and the appraisal will end up having an issue. So guys, if you're thinking about buying a property in any market, whether it's new, million, 200,000, 100,000, bank foreclosure, you got to start with a great team and start with a great agent in your corner that's been there and done that. And we always like to interview for the job so we can help you. You want to get with a good mortgage guy to get good financing and get a loan or a property that will allow repairs after closing. Hope you've enjoyed the show today. As always, guys, we love being with you. We're part of the family. We appreciate you listening every week. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Check us out on Apple and Android podcasts. As you know, we're on News Talk and Talk Radio, so a lot of places. Thank you for being with us on Saturday. We'll see you next Saturday. As always, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you.